Hey, class. Today we talked about the Civil War. We began our build-up to the Civil War, and we wanted to look at the events that just kept building the tension until it exploded into a nasty and kind of embarrassing historical event. One country is fighting itself, or one country comes out of another country, and then the other one has to fight to get it back. No matter how you look at it, the Civil War seemed to be something that was unavoidable. Some historians say that it's actually the end of the American Revolution. So, all the way from back at the beginning, the founders compromised, pushed the problem to the side. And what problem is that? The problem of slavery. But, Mr. Washington, wasn't the Civil War also about states' rights? Absolutely. States' rights versus federal rights. But the question is the states' right to do what? Choose whether they wanted slavery or not. Well, wasn't it about expanding territory and places gaining statehood? Yes, but the true conflict was, were those new states going to allow slavery or not allow slavery? Um, Ladies and gents, I have an illustration that I want to show you, and this illustration will just kind of help us get a grip on how compromises did push the problem forward, but there was a growing tension that was eventually going to erupt. So, to get the Constitution passed at the dawn of this nation, one of the things they had to compromise about was called the Three-Fifths Compromise. African American persons were considered three-fifths of a person, not allowing the South to gain too much control in Congress. In 1820, the Missouri Compromise admitted Missouri as a slave state and Maine as a free state, so neither side got the upper hand in Congress. Both sides had an equal amount of states. Adding to the tension, Nat Turner scared the snot out of everyone in the country by leading the most successful slave revolt, rebellion, insurrection in American history, killing over 60 people before being caught. Dred Scott's fight was a whole lot less violent. He fought a case all the way to the Supreme Court, saying that since he was taken to a free state, he was no longer a slave. And although all of these events built up volatile tension, maybe none more than the Compromise of 1850. The Compromise of 1850 made the Northerners believe that there was almost a Southern conspiracy, and the Southerners frustrated that they couldn't get their way. So a fugitive slave law was added to this compromise. The fugitive slave law pretty much said Northerners had to participate in capturing and sending runaway slaves back to the South. And participating in the Underground Railroad could be a heavy, heavy penalty. Also, slaves would not get a fair trial and did not deserve one. Now, the Kansas Nebraska Act sounds like it made a lot of sense. Popular sovereignty, majority rules. But that just resulted in rigged elections and a lot of fighting between the pro slave and anti slave governments of Kansas, which resulted in a lot of blood and was affectionately nicknamed Bleeding Kansas. Although compromises may have kept the country together for a time, all it would take, with all that building tension and all those problems, was the election of Abraham Lincoln to, well,